Are the Toronto Maple Leafs on the verge of a game-changing trade? With several intriguing names swirling in the rumor mill, fans are buzzing with excitement over potential new additions that could elevate our offensive game. Stay tuned as we dive into the top targets that could don the blue and white and make their mark this season. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button to stay updated with the latest happenings in Leafland. There's a lot of buzz surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs and their potential trade targets as we approach the midway point of the season. According to Steve Simmons from the Toronto Sun, a few names are emerging as prime candidates for the Leafs. And it's time we dive into what this could mean for the team and its hopeful fans. First up is Yanni Gourde from the Seattle Kraken. He seems to be the most talked-about option right now. With 6 goals and 16 points in 34 games, Gourde isn't lighting up the score sheet, but he brings versatility to the table. At 5'9", he might not be the biggest player on the ice, but he plays with a physical edge that could fit well in Coach Craig Berub's system. The question remains, though, will Brad Treliving, who values size, be willing to make a move for someone like Gourde? Personally, I'm torn. His skill set is intriguing, but can he really add the necessary punch to this lineup? Next, we have Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders. At 33 years old, he has 10 goals and 21 points in 38 games. He's a reliable two-way center, which is precisely what the Leafs need. However, he's been a bit quiet lately, only managing 4 points in his last 10 games. That raises some concerns. If the Leafs are looking for a consistent contributor, is Nelson the right choice? My gut tells me that while he brings solid experience, we need someone who can step up now, not just someone who has been good in the past. Then there's Scott Laughton from the Philadelphia Flyers. With 8 goals and 21 points in 38 games, he's another option that checks the box for being a solid two-way player. Plus, being from Oakville, Ontario, he has that local connection that could resonate with fans. But again, we have to ask ourselves, does he provide enough offensive upside to justify a trade? I'm honestly not sure. There's a fine line between being a reliable player and being a game changer. Lastly, we have Alex Wennberg from the San Jose Sharks. At 30 years old, he's had 8 goals and 18 points in 40 games this season. However, he seems to be the dark horse in this race. Less discussed and potentially the hardest to acquire due to his $5 million contract that lasts until 2026. It's tough to imagine the Leafs taking on that kind of cap hit for a player who hasn't performed at his peak in recent years. I'm skeptical about this one. Does he bring enough value to justify that contract? All 4 of these players meet the Leafs' need for a two-way center who can bolster their offensive capabilities. The pressure is on Treliving to make a significant move. The fans are hungry for success, and frankly, so are the players. What I see here is a clear indication that the Leafs are poised to make a big addition to their roster this season. This could be a game changer, or it could backfire. Who knows? So what do you think? Is Yanni Gourde the right fit? Can Brock Nelson shake off his recent struggles? Should the Leafs take a chance on Laughton or gamble on Wennberg's potential? I genuinely want to hear your thoughts on this. Are these the moves that could push Toronto over the edge, or are we setting ourselves up for disappointment? I can tell you there's so much to unpack. Watching them evolve into a more balanced contender has been a wild ride, especially with recent performances against teams like the New York Islanders. Yes, we've had our ups and downs, but there's a sense of resilience that's emerging from this squad that we can all rally behind. Let's dive into what's been happening on the ice. One of the most striking things this season has been the Maple Leafs' identity as road warriors while struggling at home. It's baffling, really. Just before that win against the Islanders, we faced a 3-game losing streak at Scotiabank Arena. Yet, on the road, we've managed to string together some crucial victories. Analysts like Jim Ralph and Anthony Stewart have pointed out this road resilience as a sign of growth. But the question remains, can we turn that road success into a dominant home performance? If we can do that, it could truly define this season, especially with division rivals on the horizon. Now let's talk about secondary scoring. With stars like Austin Matthews missing time, we needed others to step up. And thankfully players like David Kempf, Stephen Lawrence, and Nicholas Robertson have answered the call. Lawrence's game-winning goal against the Islanders was a perfect example of how critical these contributions can be. But let's be honest, we need more consistent depth scoring. When our primary guys are neutralized, it's crucial for our depth players to shine. If guys like Robertson, Max Domi, and Bobby McMahon can find their rhythm, they could be the X factors that propel us to success in the playoffs. You believe that? I'm honestly hoping they can step up and make that difference. Moving on to our goaltending situation, Joseph Woll has emerged as a cornerstone for our defense. His recent clutch saves have solidified his place as a reliable netminder, but with Anthony Stolarz still injured, managing Woll's workload becomes critical. We've seen how good he can be, but maintaining that level of performance consistently is the real challenge. Can he become the Connor Hellebuik of our team, delivering elite goaltending night after night? That's a big question hanging over us. If he can reach that level, we could really become a force to reckon with, especially once Stolarz returns to share the load, and then there's our power play. Oh boy, it's been a puzzle this season. It's become too predictable, lacking that creativity and reliable point shot we once had. Earlier in the season, we thrived on chaos, firing pucks on net, creating rebounds and capitalizing on those messy moments. John Tavares was a perfect example of that chaos, scoring nearly 20 goals by being a nuisance in front of the net. But lately, we've lost that edge, focusing too much on precision. To regain our power play effectiveness, we need to get back to basics, shoot more, create traffic, and embrace unpredictability. Connor Timmins has that mentality we need. By prioritizing volume and grit, we can reignite our power play and keep opposing teams on their toes. Looking ahead, I truly believe the 2024 Maple Leafs are poised to grow. Yes, we've faced injuries, lineup changes, and inconsistent performances. But there's a growing cohesiveness that's hard to ignore. With Matthews nearing a return and our young players developing, this team seems better equipped to handle the challenges that lie ahead. Could this finally be the season we make a deep playoff run? It's a tantalizing thought, and I'm feeling hopeful, but I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is this the right path for the Maple Leafs? I know I'm excited, but also a bit divided on some decisions. Let's debate it in the comments below. Your expectations, frustrations, everything. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any essential updates. And remember to activate the notification bell to stay in the loop with all the Maple Leafs news. Let's keep this conversation going, and as always, go Leafs go.